Hello, guten tag, bonjour, hola. How's it going, guys? I've got to say that I love when this particular situation happens. You remember yesterday when I had talked about the Twitter post that was put up by Mothers Against Greg Abbott and their fallacious, matter of fact, malicious, I'm going to say it, malicious tweet about how the only way to prevent a little girl from having to raise a baby all on her own and subjecting her to poverty in the end of her life was to murder the baby. Well, one genius came along. She refers to herself as Moon. She goes by @KaiserDarkMoon. And she's a self-proclaimed witch. She popped up and decided to throw in her 2 cents worth, as is frequently the case when I post on Twitter. Somebody has to pop in. And normally, honestly, I ignore this because the vast majority of people are they immediately go to ad hominem or some other logical fallacy that is so tired and so boring it's not worth addressing. Plus the fact that, again, the vast majority of these people who are challenging us are not really interested in a rational debate. Rather, they just want to insult you and shout you down, and so they're not worth it. They're kind of like, little flies in a field. You just kind of swat them away. And the best thing to do is not pay any attention to them. Very occasionally I find somebody who is interested in a logical, rational debate and is interested in looking for truth and fact and understanding how I see things, and then I will engage that individual. It is a very rare occasion indeed. And then there are people like Moon here who who use, again, enough logical fallacy that she's useful to use as a foil. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you what she posted here. All right, she says, is this a fetus? There's a picture of a blob in a petri dish. She says, is this a fetus? Now tell me, does it look like a baby or a parasite? Also, did you not know that the Bible, Numbers 5:27 through 28, God is okay with abortions? Did you not know that? I thought you were a man of faith. Okay, I answered her initially by sending a picture of a sea turtle egg and asked her if it looked like a sea turtle. That addresses her ridiculous claim of using what they use as a pejorative by calling it a fetus and therefore not a human being. Well, a sea turtle is not a fully realized sea turtle. However, sea turtle egg is not a fully realized sea turtle. However, it is a sea turtle, and they would get upset if we smushed it. So that answers that particular thing. And also, she uses a pejorative of a parasite. This is to answer our retort that it is it is not the mother's body. It is a separate body with its own DNA structure. And so they went from calling it a parasite to a fetus. She uses both of these arguments. And then she throws in a pseudo-biblical argument. She throws in a passage from the Bible saying that this passage proves that God supports abortion. Now, let me tell you for a fact that it does not. And it always amuses me when people who do not know anything about Christianity, certainly do not know anything about the Bible, absolutely have never, ever, ever read even part of the Bible, let alone the whole thing, try to tell those of us who are Christians and those of us who have read the Bible, and in my case, somebody who has studied the Bible and actually preached the Bible for well over 20 years about the Bible. They want to lecture me or anybody, any Christian, about the Bible when they don't know anything about it and we know a lot about it. And in my case, I know a lot about it. So I'm going to go ahead and address this ridiculous fallacy right here. So let's take a look at the actual text of the Bible, which I'm sure this individual has not read except for perhaps those 2 verses which she is using to justify her ridiculous position. Alrighty. The priest shall then write these curses on a scroll, and he shall wash them off into the water of bitterness. Then he shall make the woman drink the water of the bitterness that brings a curse, so that the water which brings a curse will go into her and cause bitterness. The priest shall take the grain offering of jealousy from the woman's hand, and he shall give the grain offering before the Lord, and bring it to the altar. And the priest shall take a handful of the grain offering as its memorial offering, and offer it up in smoke on the altar, and afterward he shall make the woman drink the water. When he has made her drink the water, then it shall come about that if she has defiled herself, that means cheated on her husband, and has been unfaithful to her husband, that the water which brings a curse will go into her and cause bitterness, and her abdomen will swell, and her thigh will waste away, and the woman will become a curse among her people. But if the woman has not defiled herself and is clean, she will then be free and conceive children. You will note, ladies and gentlemen, that there is no discussion of a baby anywhere in there, other than the fact that she will be able to conceive children if she passes the test. This particular part of Numbers is called the jealousy test. And the jealousy, or the jealousy law, this is when a husband suspects that his wife has been unfaithful to him but does not know it. And this is the way that they tested to see if she had been. Now, if she had, and she had sworn before God that she had not, then she goes through this test. And if she lied to God directly, then she will be cursed, and she will not be able to bear children anymore. In fact, she will be cursed among her people and perhaps cast out of the camp. But at any rate, if she did not lie, then nothing happens to her, and she's free to go, and her husband looks like a jerk. This primarily, or I'm not going to say primarily, but this was partially to avoid overly jealous husbands accusing their wives over and over again of cheating. And that's what this was. That's all it is. There is nothing in here about abortion. There is nothing in here about a baby dying or any of that stuff. So, Moon was completely and totally wrong. I will be referencing this in a tweet back to her so that she can know that she was completely wrong. And I will speak to you all later.